Okay, so this video is basically about a story that I am writing called Empty Shell. It's a working title, or that's the basic working title right now. We're still working on it. By we, I mean me. So this is just, if you like this, cool. I'm glad. This is just basically me going over some certain stuff about the story. I'm not going to read the story, but I will give brief descriptions of the chapters and some other stuff, and then I'll just give you some information on, like, basically what some of the deeper meaning stuff is. So let's get to it, and this video is actually going to be on not any chapter. This is going to be, well, I guess it will be about chapter 1, but let's go. Okay, so we're starting with chapter 1, which is Awakening. Again, a working title for the chapter, and this one is basically sort of a setup for the present day events that are basically moving the story forward. So instead of, it's not like a flashback or like a document like the other chapters. So basically the character that is narrating this is Patrick, and we open on a crime scene, and basically Patrick is looking over the bodies of two bodies of a couple who used to actually be Patrick's friends, or at least kind of like a neighborly friend. And right away, he already knows who did it. He's not in any way sort of like wondering about who did it. And in fact, when the story is released, because I am planning on releasing this, not anytime soon, of course, you'll see pretty much that Patrick, I mean, he knows. At this point, he knows so much, or he knows in his heart, he knows about it, who did it, and basically he's basically trying to deny it at this point. That's how, like, he knows exactly who did it. There is no mystery, and it's the point where he starts trying to deny it, he doesn't want to believe that this person really did this, and that person is technically, I guess, quote unquote, our main character, Nancy, who the story is about, basically. And basically, he's just looking over, he's trying to deny it, when just a very, very minor character, a one-sentence really character, Private Miller, who is based on somebody that I know, basically comes in and says, "Detective Loomis, Sergeant Leon is here. He wants to speak to you." And you get kind of a brief description of Private Miller. She's just like the youngest member on the force at the time, a small 22-year-old with long blonde hair and more skinny stature. And basically, this whole chapter is sort of about introducing certain elements that will come back, which you'll actually see here in the opening. Basically, Patrick goes outside and he begins talking to Sergeant Leon, who is based off of Leon Kennedy kind of based off of Leon Kennedy. He's also based off of the dean or the student dean from my school, who I am not a fan of. Leon, though, he doesn't really have these too many, I don't know, he's not really based on that guy. He's just, the description of him is sort of based on him. So basically, at this point, Patrick just explains that Leon's a hard ass. He's a dick. He's just a very unpleasant person to really be around. Again, that is kind of, based on the dean at our school. He is not a very nice man to be around. Generally, I don't know how to explain it. He's not really a nice guy. Even when he's in a good mood, or if he's not yelling at you, he just generally is not a nice person to really be around. And basically, Patrick goes into really why that is, with a story about a character named Billy Madalude. Yes, that name, I made it up. Kind of on the spot, really. And basically, he goes into an explanation of who Billy Madalude was and what he did. Or not really of what he did, but pretty much everything that Leon did Not really. Okay, it's basically just a basic description of this character Billy Madalud, and honestly, that is one of my problems with this chapter, and I wish I'm gonna try and go back and fix a lot of this, is that it jumps around a lot and it doesn't really stay focused. But this part basically sets up that Billy Madalud is he's a child eater. He's a cannibal. He ate some children, around 4, if I remember correctly, and basically Dr. John Madalud, who will come back later. Basically, he, at this point, he testifies against Billy, gets Billy the death sentence. Billy dies. Town sighs of relief, and we jump back to the present. And that will come back later. That wasn't just like a weird little rant I went on. That was kind of a little bit more world building and the shit that they've seen. Basically, pretty much from here, it just goes down the typical route that you would see. Leon and Patrick discuss the bodies, pretty much who did it, and they both know who it was. They both, at this point, they're not stupid. I mean, they know who it was. And he just says, Patrick, go home and get your house in order. And he's going to come up with a plan to basically keep our main character under tighter watch. And Patrick goes home, and pretty much this next scene's a little confusing. He goes home and sees his wife Nancy, who is the killer, and our main character. She's sitting on the steps facing out, and she's naked, and she just has this bright smile, and she's full of life, and she's just so happy, and it just seems like it's not real, and it turns out not to be. This is a figment of Patrick's imagination, sort of a fantasy that he's really hoping for when he walks in. The reason she's naked too was I mean, you could probably guess, but I mean, he's more focused on her face and this giant smile, but he comes back to reality, and when he opens the door, she's not there, she's not naked, and the house is just quiet, and he calls out for her, and she peeks her head out from behind the wall. And that is actually where this chapter ends. I kind of wanted to make it a little longer, but overall, I'm kind of happy with it. I definitely have a few things that I really want to fix up, especially with the sort of Billy Madalud story, and I want to keep it more about Leon, because it does kind of jump around a little bit. It's not my favorite chapter. I'd actually give it probably like a 6 out of 10, if I was rating these, which I probably will. But basically, one thing that kind of inspired me with this chapter was, Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Who Censored Roger Rabbit, the book of Who Framed Roger Rabbit. And what it was supposed to be was sort of this gritty crime. It was supposed to sort of give you this sort of, gumshoe sort of noir feel to it, but then it spits in your face by saying Patrick already knows who did it. And the character of Patrick isn't really based on anyone. If anything, I'd actually say he's more based on me physically. He is taller than me, and he's a detective. But I'd say he's more he's kind of based on me and my brother, mostly sort of what I think my brother's going to be like in the future, because he's going to be an FBI agent or whatever. I don't know, narcos guy. I don't know what he is. I don't know what he's doing. But basically, this chapter is sort of based on, I don't know really. Like this thing is sort of based on. I can't really find the words to describe it, but basically a gritty crime, and it makes you think, it's going to be a mystery about who killed these two people. And then he just says right at the beginning, I knew it was her as soon as I saw the bodies. There was no doubt in any of our minds. And that's kind of what I was getting at when I said it was supposed to sort of jump out at you a little bit and sort of make a twist. But yeah, so basically, these two characters, Jen and Donald, they're dead. And they do come back and play a significant role later, but we're not going to get into that because that's actually later. Now, they are dead, but it sort of... I don't want to say it's the climax to the story, but I do have an idea for somewhere I can go with them. Alright, so that was actually a lot of fun. So I'm definitely going to do more of these. And I know there's no gaming content, like, at all in this, and there is a reason for that. These are just to sit down and listen. There is no gaming content. I'm not going to put gaming content in, and I know people are going to get mad about that, but just trust me. It's just story time. It's story time with Meaty. Yeah, okay. So, thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.